Hello everyone, welcome back. In the first video on the Hijab Hebrew fiasco, I posted some possibilities that Hijab was saying for the two words that he was referring to in Hebrew. I didn't catch the second one he said. Can't really find any references to it in the Hebrew Bible, and he wasn't specific enough. I was a bit too generous, perhaps, in my speculation that he was referring to an Aramaic form and just got the two confused. We have a Muslim who wants to defend Hijab, at least wants to propose a possible defense, and so we're just going to take a look at that comment, and we'll find out that we have one Muslim who doesn't know Hebrew trying to defend another Muslim who doesn't know Hebrew. So let's take a look at what we have real quick. All right, so this person references a particular passage, which I have loaded up right here, Haggai 2:5, and he says, this is probably what, so he states it modestly, that's good, this is probably what Hijab meant, because the majority is variation of ruach. Okay, and then he comes down here and he says, Hijab said there are two words for spirit in Hebrew, ruch and ruach. All right, now, let's see if this claim actually holds water. This is what I want to look into. Because again, you have Muslims who don't know Hebrew defending Hijab who doesn't know Hebrew. So this is the passage that is referenced, and this is the particular word that's referenced right here. So let's jump out of Bible Hub here and all of the transliterations and actually into the Hebrew text. So here I have both of these forms pulled up. This is the one that David Wood referenced in Genesis chapter 1, and you can see we're just going to leave this conjunction out of the discussion. Okay, it's not relevant. We can talk about this just fine without it, so it'll simplify things a bit. We have ruach, okay? That's the form here. Notice this horizontal pen stroke. This is an A-class vowel, one of the A-class vowels, okay? It's called a pathic. Here we have, again, to leave the conjunction out of the discussion, we have ruchi. Okay, there is no A-class vowel right here. So when our friend commented, we'll go back to the comment, ruch and ruach, okay? Those are the two forms that he's referring to. So let's jump again back to the text. You have ruach, and then you have ruch with the sufformative here, the pronominal suffix, the 1cs pronominal suffix. So the question is, are these two different Hebrew words, or are they one Hebrew word? And to be more specific, we'll use the technical term lemma. Are these two lemmas or one? In other words, when you look this up in a lexicon, does it occur in two different entries, or do these words occur in one entry under different forms? All right, so let's dive into how this actually works in Hebrew morphology. Here I have for you, if you'll excuse my messy handwriting, these two forms, once again, without the conjunction. Again, it simplifies the discussion. So here we have ruach, and here we have ruchi. Now, this is that pesky little furtive pathic that I was telling you about. Before I called it a pathic, but in this particular morphology, it's called a furtive pathic. So normally in Hebrew, you pronounce the consonant and then the vowel, but sometimes you pronounce the vowel and then the consonant, and that's the case here. That's why it's ruach, not rucha, because the vowel comes before the consonant. Now this occurs when some consonants, like this guy, occur at the end of the word. That's very important. This occurs, the furtive pathic, when some consonants, like our one on the screen here, occur at the end of the word, okay? So when this consonant occurs at the end of the word, you may want to look for this pathic, which is a furtive pathic in this morphology, okay? And over here, we have our other form from the passage in Haggai, okay? Now, if you isolate these, this is what our commenter is talking about. If you isolate these, actually I don't need to do it on that side, then you have ruch and ruach. All right, so you can see what the commenter's talking about here. But again, are these two different lemmas, or are they the same? And you'll notice the key here is the absence of this pesky little furtive pathic on this side. It doesn't exist, okay? So why does that happen? Well, let's look into it. I'm going to draw the lexical form of this. Right here we have ruach, same as what you see here. Okay, same thing, just with my messy handwriting. Okay, here's our furtive pathic. Now what happens up here, you have this guy, think about this as one letter. Okay, this is a hirik yod, and this is how you make the word in Hebrew say my or mine. Okay, in this context, my spirit. You add that hirik yod at the end of it. Now it's the 1CS form, which is first person, and then C for common because this particular person isn't inflected for gender, and then singular, 1CS. But I said that the furtive pathic here occurs when this consonant is at the end of the word. But what happens when you come over here and you add this hirik yod, guess what? This consonant is no longer at the end of the word. So what you have instead is just this hirik yod. The furtive pathic drops off, the hirik yod replaces it, and now you have ruach in the 1CS form. And this is why when you look up ruach in a lexicon, you see all of these different forms. This is why we don't say that there's a new word for every different form in Hebrew. I mean, to take spirit, for example, if we made a new word every time we had a different form of spirit, how many words will we have for spirit? We would have, well, spirit, and then my spirit, your spirit, his spirit, her spirit, their spirit, everybody's spirit, right? And all of these would be different lemmas. No, it's one lemma, and it's inflected differently, or you have performatives and suffirmatives added to it to change the morphology as the syntax requires. But it's still the same word. It's one word, ruach. So, you have Muslims who don't know Hebrew defending hijab who doesn't know Hebrew. And as I've reflected on this more, you really have a couple of options. You can try to defend him, or you can say, no, he didn't know what he was talking about. I can see that. He needs to do better. Or you can take the option that some Muslims have that I've received communication from, which is basically, hey, we don't like what you're saying, but it makes a lot of sense. And we can see that you're proving hijab wrong. And I think that's really important because here's what I would suggest. And that's that I love Muslims more than he does. And the reason I say that completely sincerely is that he got up on a stage and he lied to a bunch of you. Everyone sitting in that audience, at least as his brother and sister in the Islamic community, deserves to be spoken to with honesty. And he did not do that. You can't get up in front of a bunch of people and act like you know a language. Okay? That's either one, dishonest, or two, delusional. You can't think you know a language if you don't. Unless, one, you have an arrogance problem, which is this in this particular case, or two, again, you're delusional, and I don't think that's the case. He owes his brothers and sisters as Muslims honesty, okay? And he did not deliver. That's not what you got. But you have people like myself, and because I love Hebrew, this is what I'm focusing on. I could be studying Aramaic right now, or I could be sitting on the couch with some popcorn watching a movie, maybe take a nap. It's been a long day, but I'm here making these videos because you as Muslims and Christians, you deserve to know the truth. And the truth is that your big bad apologist lied to you. And he lied to you to get a couple of cheap claps, to get a couple of cheap laughs. Did he not know that what he said was recorded and in the age of the internet would inevitably reach the ears and eyes of someone who knows Hebrew, someone who knows better, and someone who has a platform of some sort to reach Muslims and let them know you've been lied to? And I really appreciate the Muslims who have contacted me and said, hey, I'm not going to jump ship now, but what you're saying makes a lot of sense, and I have to admit that he didn't know what he was talking about. So, Why does your apologist not think that you as Muslims deserve to be spoken to honestly and truthfully? And that's a question you need to ask yourself, because you were lied to and there's no way around it. So, time is short these days, as I said in the previous part of the video, the previous video. It's a long debate. If there are any other particular points that particularly as it relates to Hebrew that people want to bring up and have me address, then I can probably do that. But at this point, I think that this is all I'll do. I know that that Hijab is embarrassed now, and he, like a coward, is getting his dawah teams, and they're reporting videos of people who are uploading critiques of his performance, and they're claiming copyright, which is a bunch of nonsense. If you can't deal with the truth, you silence the truth, and that's what he's trying to do. It's even worse. Not only does he lie to his Muslim brothers and sisters, but he wants to shut down people like myself who are correcting him. But, you're Muslims. You're created in the image of God. Christians like me talk to you not because we get rich doing it, not because we don't have anything better to do, but because we want you to know the truth, and we want to communicate that to you as clearly as possible, and that's what I've tried to do here in this short video series. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you for the next video.